I'm originally from California. My entire family resides in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, we moved when I was about 2 to a small town in Texas. So as I like to flex, I'm Cali-made, Texas-raised. Although some of my father's siblings moved with us due to better job opportunities, we still made frequent visits and often spent a majority of our summers on the West Coast. It was always an adventure every time we went down to visit. Some of the most bizarre experiences in my young adult life are from my summers down in Cali. There's one memorable moment that's always stood out to me and my cousins. It's one of our staple memories that we all often discuss and now as adults try to figure out. One summer, when I was about 11 or 12, me and all my cousins spent most of days outside my grandmother's house. She lived next to an apartment complex in Lawndale. Being bored was always the beginning of many great adventures. On this particular afternoon, me and my cousins decided to play Charmed. It was a bunch of us girl cousins that played witches with powers, and our boy cousins would be the demons. It sounds silly, but it was like tag but in teams and make-believe powers. As we played, we saw a little girl up above looking at us. She had blonde short curly hair and was in a nightgown. She stared at us with this uneasy grin, and what I can only describe as a loud stare. She was standing near a rail in the 3rd floor. I say loud stare because when I got uncomfortable and broke eye contact, I looked back and all my cousins were just glazing up at her, almost mesmerized. It's also important to note that I was the second oldest in the group of 6, age group 12 to 6 years old. For some reason I felt wrong, so I yelled out, "Hey!" and they all looked at me. I knew something was wrong because my little cousins didn't speak or react. The apartment complex was open and exposed to the outside, so from my grandma's backyard I could see the 2nd and 3rd floor and all the door that lead to the apartments. When we turned around, the girl was on the 2nd floor closer to us. Me and my older cousin shared a look of despair. We knew something was off at the moment. We didn't question how she moved so quickly. We didn't want to scare the kids. She still had the same stare and look on her face, and without breaking her grin, she asked if she could play with us. Me and my older cousin told her no, and we both, for some rude reason, cussed her out. I should also mention that I'm Mexican-American, and in our culture we're taught to curse out the bad spirits, and I think me and my older cousin knew something wasn't human about her. The energy felt heavy, and at this point, my younger cousins seemed frozen in fear. Immediately after we cussed her out, we had a blackout. They're common in Los Angeles. It wasn't the first time we'd experienced a blackout, but what happened next was unexplainable. When we looked back, the young girl was walking on the utility pole electric wire. We could see her squared over almost like an owl, and she stared at us and continued to stand up and walk away. We all ran inside, and shortly after the lights came back on. We never saw that little girl again. My grandmother had several friends who lived at that apartment complex, and no one knew who or what apartment she came from. She simply was never seen again.